Hello one and all, welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some very nice sounding respaces using Serum 2. I'm going to walk you through what I'm actually doing so you understand the process as opposed to just telling you kind of where to dial in each knob. So I think you'll learn, if you learn the technique, then you can figure this stuff out for yourself. There's no right way to do it, but there is some tips that will definitely make your life a bit easier. So what is a respace? Respace is essentially having two voices that are a bit detuned. So let's do that. I'm going to set this to -20 and set this one to 20. And let's have a listen. And you can hear that's already quite Reese. So what I'm going to do is put on mono and put on the portamento. And drop the octave of both of these to -2. Now, what we could do here is start adding in some movement, maybe. So we're going to get an LFO, put it on the cutoff, and we're going to find a nice filter for us. So these notches and things are generally quite good. HN. Got another one on the frequency here. We could even use actually I'm going to put this on free so that it doesn't re-trigger each time. So I put it on re-trigger. It starts at the start every time, so free. Gives it a nice flowing movement. And I'm going to put the smooth all the way up on sample and hold. Make it a bit shorter. Gives a bit more of a random kind of sound. You can hear it's cutting out quite a bit, but for our purposes that's fine, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So filter 1, we want to go exclusively to bus 1. So we're going to press none and do bus 1. And there is a reason for this. As you can see, as you're adding in, as things are getting a bit phasey, the lower fundamental is a bit unstable. And when we're thinking about electronic music, we want the sub to be nice and hard, nice and firm. So what we're going to do to get around that is we're going to re-add in this fundamental. We're going to cut it out to start. And to do that, we're going to open up the wavetable, go on process all, remove fundamental. Same again for B. And now we've taken away that fundamental, that bass note. So if I add in oscillator C, you'll see it reappear. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is put it onto a sine wave. I'm going to send it to filter 2. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that at all. What am I talking about? I'm going to send it to exclusively bus 2. And now you see we have that nice solid foundation without any fundamental from these two. The reason I've sent them to different buses is so that we can process these two and make a kind of nice wide layer and keep the sub perfectly intact. So we've got the movement happening on filter 1 over here. Now let's go and have a look. So to start, we're going to add some distortion, maybe something interesting like a diode, which is quite hard. That's quite a lot of low mid diode does. But we can always get rid of that if we don't want it. Now what I'm going to do is put an EQ on here and have it so that it's cutting out all the sub-frequencies. And I'll put a filter on here as well. And you can use an EQ or filter, it really doesn't matter. Using a filter with a more aggressive slope might sound better, I guess, but, you get less crossover of those low mids, but, hey, you've got your sine wave there. I mean, you've got the important parts covered, really, so. So now you want to add some movement to bus 1. So we could try stuff like using a chorus, for example. So you get a really nice kind of low, wide layer out of that. So maybe add a little bit of that, but also we'll add another one. And we'll click this to make it into a high pass filter. Now we've got a really nice kind of Reese sound coming along. Now, the reason I said to drop these by -2 was so that the noise is closer to its original pitch. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to send it... Actually, what I'll do first is show you what it's doing. So we're going to send it to bus 1. And you can hear, with that distortion as well, just adds a little bit more high-end bite. Now we could always try a different sort of noise, maybe a bright white. There you go, that's lovely, that is. But what we're going to do with this is send it to filter 2, exclusively to filter 2. And filter 2 we're going to send exclusively to bus 1. Now we're going to turn on filter 2. And we're going to use reverb. Now, this filter's really cool, so let's have a listen to it just by itself. I'll add a compressor on here just so you can hear it as well. Now I'm going to put up the below, and what the below does is it means that it's now going to be compressing stuff below the threshold, so you get more of that kind of OTT sound. You can hear how weird that reverb is. What we're going to do is put it right down the bottom and just put a little bit of movement on there. Make it a bit slower maybe. Now if we add these back in, without, just adds a bit of a moving kind of noise texture to the top of the texture layer, the flavour layer maybe we should call it that. And just to show you again what we're doing with this compressor, you can hear it gives that nice sort of OTT style crunch. Now I've turned up the low frequencies, but the lows are below 128, so what I might do is turn it up a little bit. Lovely. And you can hear a bit of a tail as well. So if we bring the depth down on these a little bit, you can hear that tail's now gone. And that's just because the OTT is bringing out the artifacts. So just to show that, we'll put a reverb before it. You hear that? Which is a pretty cool sound by itself, but I mean, you could do what you want really. There's no right answer, as I keep saying. You could have it as just a little, or maybe we could even put the envelope on it so that it cuts out the moment we stop playing. You can hear when it's full. It does add a nice little kind of bit of room to it. What else? We could do a hyperdimension maybe? Again, just have a mess around. Just having little bits of movement here and there are really going to help your sound kind of feel fleshed out. Maybe even a flanger. And then we could even stick another filter on here maybe. Let's cut out some of those highs, and then we could add those back in by using another distortion. Set this on pre, and set it so that it's only getting high frequencies. Hear that? So yeah, this is the general idea. Have the sub and everything else separate, cut off the sub-frequencies, and then when we process the sound all together, actually, let's add a bit more movement whilst we're here. Add a little bit more, why not? Let's try something else. Let's try HN. Maybe there's a little bit too much of that noise. Personal preference, no right answer. The important thing is that we have a perfectly intact sub bass. You can see it starts to move again as I bring that down, so that's... And then we're going to process everything together at the end, so add some more distortion maybe. Maybe add a limiter onto the end. And now because we've got that limiter there, we can really go ham with this. And the final thing I'd suggest is getting another EQ right at the end, maybe before the limiter, having a look for some problem frequencies. I mean, this is a good sound design trick all in itself, just boosting the resonance and... Lovely stuff. So that sounds quite muddy there. So let's cut that out. So we want to do thin cuts. Thin cuts, wide boosts. And yeah, get designing, stop relying on crap tutorials that don't teach you anything, learn actually how to do it and get out there and do it yourself. There we go. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, I would appreciate a like or a subscribe, either or both if you're feeling very generous. There's a few more videos like this on my channel, plenty more coming soon. Peace out.